this is one of the wonderful things that I get to do is to install a new officer, new president, and then the board of officers. So Happy New Year, Happy Rotary New Year. You know, July 1st we started with our new year. So I'm going to ask your president-elect to come up. President-elect Bill, who will be president in just a minute. And if you'll just stand there. Bill, before you can be president, I'm going to ask you a few questions, okay? And I'm going to ask you to answer, if you can. I will after each of these questions, okay? Are y'all listening now to see how he answers? Bill, you've been elected to the office of president of the Rotary Club of Spring Valley by its members. It is their indication of their esteem and confidence in your leadership. As president of the Rotary Club of Spring Valley, will you administer the duties of the office of president in a business-like manner?
I will.
Will you give support and provide assistance to the District Governor, Jimmy, and Assistant Governor, Marilyn?
I will.
Will you abide by the club's constitution and bylaws and the Rotary International Manual of Procedure?
I will.
And will you strive to light up Rotary?
I will.
If so, you have answered "I will" to all of these, and I now pronounce you the new president of the Rotary Club of Spring Valley. Congratulations. We're going to ask now all of the new officers and board members to just come stand up here, please. Quickly.
Quick.
Quickly as you can. Watching the clock, watching the clock. Oh, you have to show your face, Phil says. Oh. You have to show your face, he says. Y'all see who they are, right? Okay, I'm going to ask you to raise your right hand, please. Say "I," and then please say your name.
I.
And then repeat after me. I do solemnly pledge that I will fulfill the duties of my office in the Rotary Club of Spring Valley to the best of my ability, that I will support President Phil, Assistant Governor Marilyn, and District Governor Jimmy, and will abide by our club's constitution and bylaws. I declare you hereby installed. Wonderful. Now I'm going to ask everyone just to stand where you are, please. Don't let it leave you. And I'm going to ask all the members of the Spring Valley Rotary Club, will you give your support to the officers and especially to President Phil this year, 2014-15, help them to make Spring Valley Rotary Club the #1 club in this District 7770? If so, say, "I will."
I will.
Thank you so much.
Good afternoon. So this is my opportunity to speak to everybody here and as part of the club assembly. And, over the last couple of years, the club assembly has evolved into the president to give some remarks to open the year off. Really excited about the opportunity to help lead this club and to, along with our board. As we all know, we have an outstanding club. I'm always amazed, having served on the board the last 4 or 5 years, just how well organized we are. And to take nothing away from other clubs in our district or elsewhere, but we just feel like, I feel like we're just ahead of everybody. It's a testament really to past presidents, Ken Morris, Paul Matthews, Diane Junis, Steve Junis. Really, we have just great leadership with this club, and so I'm real excited about this year. I know it's a challenge for me, but I'm looking forward to it. So, president of Rotary International is, of course, Gary C.K. Wong from the Rotary Club of Taipei, and brings a lot of energy to Rotary. One of his focuses this year is really obviously on membership, but recruiting family members into Rotary. What a great example to have Gail do a vocational talk after being inducted a few months ago by Jim. So really appreciate that. Great example there. Got to hear President Wong at the Rotary International Convention in Sydney last month. And again, just a real passionate guy, brings a lot of energy. If you read in the Rotarian, it talks about when he started in Rotary and how he got involved and was begging to get into the club. They said, "Oh, you're too young. You're not ready for this yet." That's the kind of energy that he brings. The theme this year is Light Up Rotary. When I heard that was announced, Jed, past President Jed, said at the club assembly we ought to turn the lights off and hold up lighters and sing Kumbaya. But I decided not to do that at the last second.
Thank you.
But really, that's Light Up Rotary, and again, you can read about this in the Rotarian. Comes from philosopher Confucius. It's better to light a single candle than to sit and curse the darkness. President Wong, what he's really talking about, there's so many problems in the world, and people sit back and say, well, I really can't do anything about it. But if everybody does a little bit, lights their candle, we have 1.2 million Rotarians, that makes a big difference, and there's a lot that we can do to improve the lives of others throughout the world. So, quick history lesson. I think it's good to remind us where Rotary came from. Of course, Paul Harris in 1905 founded Rotary. There's 4 members, and really wanted to develop a bigger purpose rather than just a meeting for once a week or the Rotary offices. But service really became the driving factor there to really have a purpose to really grow Rotary. And it quickly expanded. In less than 15 years, there are over 1,000 clubs in the world. And today we have, of course, we hear all the time, 1.2 million Rotarians. Unfortunately, that's, of course, plateaued the last few years, and membership in North America has declined in some cases. So obviously we want to do more to grow that. We talk about membership, you hear it all the time, but it's really important. I mean, obviously the more members we get in the club, the more projects we can take on, the more money we can raise, the more people we can help in this world. And that's really what it's about. Not saying we have to take anybody into the club or other clubs, but certainly continue to look for quality individuals and family members. One of the focuses, again, President Wong, is to recruit family members. So maybe not necessarily into this club, but maybe you've got a family member who works downtown. Maybe they could join one of the other clubs there. That's a good way to recruit more folks into Rotary. 200 countries throughout the world, 520 districts roughly. What you may not know about, you don't hear often, are zones. Rotary is broken out into zones. We fall under zone 33 and 34, which is, we have a zone director who serves on the Rotary International Board of Directors. His name is Robert Hall from the Rotary Club of Dunwoody, Georgia. We, of course, fall under zone 33, the 15 districts within the zone. Of course, we're District 7770. Jimmy Williamson from the Rotary Club of Toronto is going to do a great job this year. One of his priorities is CART, another literacy. CART, obviously, we know folks getting older. We know Alzheimer's continues to be a problem. We always have the CART buckets here, a reminder of that. We're going to have probably a program. As we develop our programs for our weekly meetings, we'll have a CART program, I think, sometime in the second half of the Rotary year. But that's a big priority for District Governor Jimmy. Of course, Marilyn Gray, our Assistant District Governor, really supports us, keeps us on track, helps us to put together our Club of the Year application. We fell short last year in the district to the Rotary Club of Hilton Head, but we're going to do everything we can to get that back. And we certainly got my commitment to give 100% to this club, to do everything we can. Again, our board, for those, of course, we had the installation here, just to remind for everybody who's not there. Our president-elect, of course, Bill Oliver. If I don't do a good job, we know he's very capable, and past Rotary of the year. So one thing Rotary does really well is succession planning. Although I don't know how I got to be president, maybe Keith kind of twisted my arm a little bit, but I'll do a good job. And of course, Wendy Fuse is our vice president, president nominee. We have a 3-year succession plan for to become president and then past president. So if you're thinking about the officers for the following year come about, thinking about potentially becoming president, have a vice president, president-elect, and then president. The secretary, past secretary of the year, Ramesh, has done a great job. Huge asset to our club, as Angela Scott, CPA, really good with our books, assisted by David Morton, great banking experience. Of course, past president Jed has just coming off a great year. He'll continue to work on our signature project. That's going to be a big focus for him. And certainly the signs are out there. If you get out to the village of Sandville, or the Sandhills Pumps and Extension, that's out there. And we continue that project over the next couple of years to really help improve the quality of life for folks in Northeast Columbia. Membership, can't say enough about what Derek's done, and fortunate to have him continuing on again in that capacity. And obviously, again, can't stress it enough, membership, very important. We've continued to steadily increase over the last 5-6 years in this club in terms of membership. We can always do better. And that goes right along with PR and marketing. Frank Carl, we're now videotaping these meetings. You can go to the YouTube link, watch. If you don't come to the meeting, you can actually watch online, and it counts as a meeting. You're going to get to see really the whole program. So that's a great asset for us. And again, getting the name out, Rotary, getting the awareness. You saw the sign, hopefully, on the street there. Getting people aware of Rotary, that helps to drive membership. New generations, Unique has done a great job with the Interact Club, getting that started in Spring Valley. Fortunate to have her continue there as well. Getting at the convention, which I'll talk about in just a minute, the big focus was on keeping Rotary attractive and really attracting some of the younger folks. So we want to try to get people from Interact into Rotaract, and then hopefully into Rotary. That's a big push there. Community service, Michelle Lewis has done a great job with our socials last year, and fortunate to have her help organize our community service efforts, really to help people spend their time. Real good organizational skills that she has, and she's going to bring a lot to that. Charlene Craig is going to head up our foundation efforts. In the past, people said, well, you got to be a past president to be a foundation chair. Well, Charlene is a Paul Harris Society member, really committed to the foundation. Our club, obviously, we support the foundation. We always exceed our goals in the district, and we'll continue that as well. Amanda Jordan, a past group study exchange participant, will again head on our international service. So pleased to have her continue as well. Club service, Neil Mather is going to continue that capacity as well. And at large, we have an at-large position. Marty Wells has done a great job with our bulletins, and has been a great asset to our club. He'll be coming on the board to help bring some advisory capacity there. So pleased to at our board. I want to talk a little bit about the convention. I had the fortunate opportunity to attend this Rotary International Convention in Sydney. This was a picture from one of the plenary sessions. Really, the Australians were just so welcoming. It was a really great convention. This was my second convention to attend, and I really had a tremendous time. Again, I think the theme that it was really Ron Burton's, past President Burton's convention, which I'll talk about in a second. This was held in Olympic Park in Sydney, which is about 15 to 25 minutes away from the city center. They had the Olympic flame burning there, and I got a picture there with my Paul Harris pin and my South Carolina 7770 and 7750. Great event. The Australians really did a great job. This was a little bit different. I attended the convention in Bangkok a couple of years ago. This was a fully developed country, and again, the the emphasis was really on keeping awareness of Rotary. You know, in developed countries, you know, maybe it's not a priority, but I think this convention, one of the opening remarks that President Burton made was are we getting enough value from all these programs, Interact, Rotaract, Youth Exchange, Ambassadorial, Global Scholars? What can we do to get more from those programs? And again, help to attract those people into Rotary. A lot of the breakout sessions hit on that, keeping Rotary attractive, being flexible to the needs of some of the younger folks, and really helping to drive membership. This is a picture from the House of Friendship, which is the big convention hall where there's all kinds of booths set up with Rotary Fellowship presentations, and various vendors selling Rotary pins. I had a gentleman from India walk up to me and introduce himself, and just was so friendly, and really was surprised that I was president-elect. I guess he thought I was too young for the job, but it was a great social event there as well. Australian Prime Minister Tony Abbott spoke at the opening plenary session. You know, the convention in 2017 will be in Atlanta. I'm going out on a limb saying our president, whoever that will be, probably won't attend that convention, maybe. But Prime Minister Abbott announced a $100 million award from the Australian government towards polio eradication. Really got some, yeah. And I will say, I had some of the Australians were kind of wondering how they're going to get that money, but they're going to make it happen. So, good positive news from a representative from the WHO, Dr. Bruce Alward, indicated that 2 of the 3 strains have been eradicated. Obviously, again, polio is the #1 priority for Rotary International. There are still some challenges, but it's down to 3 countries, Nigeria, Afghanistan, and Pakistan, and it will be eradicated. But the value, more than just providing the vaccinations, Rotary can facilitate getting those vaccinations in from a peace standpoint. And there's cases pop up in Syria and some other countries here and there, so we really have to continue to press on. And I think I've seen 2018 is kind of the year that's going to happen, which will wind up being, I guess, 33 years or so. 1985 was when it was announced that was going to be the #1 effort. Again, attracting new generations, keeping Rotary relevant. There was a breakout session from a gentleman who was kind of alluded to the business connections, that applications of how you keep businesses attractive, and really kind of drew the comparison to Rotary. And again, so President Burton alluded to that in his opening remarks. I thought that was particularly important. So again, I think we can do more to help attract some of the folks from Rotaract. I mean, you know, people go to college, and certainly they may move away from Columbia, but we have a USC Rotaract club. What can we do to continue to attract those people into Rotary? And it may not be this club, it may be another club, but I think that's important. Future convention locations, I would encourage you, if you'd like to travel, to consider going to a convention. The next 4 years have been announced. Sao Paulo in 2015. I know Bill Oliver is planning to be there. I'd like to be there myself. Seoul, Korea, 2016. 2017 in Atlanta. I think we should all be there. You know, it really, Rotary, the convention, if you like Rotary, it just takes it to a whole other level. You just meet people from all over the world. It's just a really great experience. Toronto in 2018. I think I may have seen a couple other dates, or a couple other years, South Africa, potentially Hawaii, down the road. So I want to make a point about being a Rotarian. It's really, I think, should be emphasized that outside of the U.S., it really is an honor to be a Rotarian. I think we sometimes take it for granted. really pick up on that at the convention. Like the gentleman from India, it really is an honor. So we have to continue to think about that. And we ask you to support ethical business practices, support the foundation, obviously, and pursue new members. The more members we get in, the more lives we can change in our club, community, fellowship. Certainly continue to introduce folks to Rotary and be welcoming. When we have guests, I encourage you to do everything you can to make folks welcome and attract them to our club. I'm going to have a few comments here. I'm going to close and I'm going to turn it over to somebody else here in just a second. But our history, we have a great history of Rotary. Rotary is one of the best international organizations. We know that. Think about the value that it has in our community. Think about where we would be without Rotary. Well, you say, well, some other organization might come in and fill the gap. Maybe they wouldn't do it as well. But a quote that I think deserves some consideration. This was stated: if Rotary hopes to advance its aims, it must be evolutionary always, and at times revolutionary. Anybody know who said that? That's right. Paul Harris. So that really speaks to, this was years ago that was said. So to be flexible and look to ways to improve. We know we're all going to die at some point. Well, what can we do? What do we want the legacy to be for Rotary? Our legacy, and then eventually to see Rotary carry on for generations to come. Of course, be proud to be a Rotarian, and let's have fun. It's all about having fun. And we improve lives. Last year, the theme was Engage Rotary, Change Lives. We do that, and we have a lot of fun. We have 4 Fs. We have a great time at social events. So I would continue to emphasize that. Real quick, I know that there's some concern about who I am and Keith. We do look alike, I guess. I don't know if the picture's all that good, but you're better looking. When I put them side by side, I said, I guess we do kind of look alike. But anyway. Upcoming programs, I want to say next week, obviously Ray Tanner, going to be a huge asset to university and in the community. So certainly we want to remind everybody about that. We're going to have some outstanding programs this year. We had a little subcommittee that met to recruit some speakers. And just over the next few weeks here, Ray Tanner, we've got a representative from SCANA, Mike Briggs. Really want to focus on the business development and more business development, more money that gets raised and more into the community. That's more money that more nuts we can sell, and more money that we can raise and improve lives of other folks. Jim Hodges is going to be speaking on August 28th. And, the list goes on. So we've got some really good programs that I think you'll be pleased to see. I want to, as I said, I'm not the only one who attended the convention in Sydney. I want to turn it over to Kathy Gambley, who also attended, and she's going to speak a little bit about her experience at the convention as well. Kathy?
Of course, I was a Rotary Exchange student in 1975. I was 6 months old, and my sister was only 4 months old, and now we're both 39. But so my New Zealand sister from New Zealand met me there, and it was awesome to be together and talk about generations of families. My daughter also lives in Auckland, New Zealand. She's lived there for 8 years. She's a teacher. And she joined me, and then a friend of hers who is a nurse and is from Boston is now just started a job in Sydney. So we had different generations. We had women 39 plus and in their 20s and 30s. And both my daughter and her new friend in Sydney are joining Rotaract. Well, my daughter's joining Rotaract, but her friend I didn't realize was 30 plus, so she is actually joining Rotaract. home for her right away. But going to the convention, 18,000 people positive about changing the world. I was like, I want to stay here. This is better than Disney World. I cannot wait to go to Brazil. I can't wait to bring my grandson. Doug is definitely coming with us next year because he spent so much time with Matthias, bringing him back and forth to school, bringing him back and forth to Rotary. And so we've already let Matthias know we're coming, we're going to be there. But it is totally a different level. You know, you just want to be there. I'm not sure if I'm doing this right. This one? Here we go. Hey, yay! So, this was the Friendship House, which you had a great photo, but this one was showing that it was like the bridge. And 360 people, or 316 people? We beat the record of having the most people climb the Sydney Bridge, also raising money for Rotary. And it is true. People would come. They had a wonderful train system. We had free transportation the whole time. I just brought a backpack. Really, lots of times people think, well, I can't go to a convention because I got this bill or I didn't plan for that. It was wonderful seeing people bring their whole family, their wife and their 2 kids, and this was their family trip. And I met people that it was their 4th trip and their 11th convention. One woman had been there 20 times. And it definitely, after you've gone once, you're like, I want to be there again. And, the only thing that was a little disappointing was that in the House of Friendship, if you weren't registered, you weren't allowed in. So, of course, many of those things, I was alone. But I will tell you, I had lunch with the most amazing people. People would come up to you from India and say, there's no polio. And they would have these long conversations with you. Men from Bangladesh would just come up and say, I want to take your picture with you. We have no polio. And you were like, this is so cool. I was very excited about learning about the Wheelchair Foundation, which I've been talking to Paula about. So I was able to attend many breakout sessions about how Rotary sends millions of wheelchairs to different countries, and I'm actually going to be a part of an international problem solving because they make the wheelchairs, they get them there, but they don't have people to fit them. And I'm like, that's me. I can fit these wheelchairs. I know how to use foam. I know how to use anything to make a wheelchair fit. So I'm really good with duct tape. So we had amazing entertainment that was both at the Olympic facility was amazing. But of course we all had to go to the Opera House, and every night they had a program called Vivid. And Vivid was an amazing light show from 3 different harbors. And because we had free transportation, some of the best conversations I had were on the train, which was, like he said, about 25 minutes from where Olympic Center was. But so you spoke to people from all over the world as you were traveling the train. And like he said, the Australians, they just embraced us. And I was just like, you were always safe. We were sometimes at the train station at 12:30, 1 o'clock at night. You would take a cab to your hotel, and you were always safe because there were Rotarians, 18,000 of them, all around you. So I look for this nice envelope when I go to Brazil too, because Rotarians take care of Rotarians. This was amazing. This was the torch. It's not lit here because it's during the daytime, but it was a fountain and a torch. But they lit the torch for us. It hadn't been lit in 14 years, and it was like, yay, Rotarians are pretty important. So we're lighting it for you. It was like being celebrities there. You're a Rotarian. I was like, yeah. And one of the funniest stories too was the grounds were beautiful. The women dressed amazing. The women from Nigeria and Hong Kong, and I was just like, wow, it was just so much fun. This was so exciting for me to be involved in wheelchairs for kids because, of course, that's where my heart is, and that's why we started our nonprofit. Children wait, even people with insurance in the United States. I'm on the phone all the time. I'm like, it's been a month since they've had their new braces, sometimes I wait a year for our children. So you can imagine, women having babies are paralyzed in different countries and are sometimes dragged in wheelbarrows if they're lucky. But one woman had not been able to go to church for 30 years until she received a wheelchair from Rotary. And so I went to many of the breakout centers I went to was for this. But this is something I would like to do. I would like to sandwich like a trip to Brazil, work with their Wheelchairs for Kids, help them do that, and then go on to the convention. So, and a lot of different Rotary clubs were doing things like their friendship exchange, so that they would do a friendship exchange and sandwich it in, so they would get to see Australia or whatever country they're going. And I would love to see our club go in that direction too, where, especially since we're not doing the youth program. I think we need to know we're a part of this amazing, big, big world. And unless we travel, we won't know that, you know, so it was awesome. And they also make these little stuffed animals. And one of the men, he couldn't wait to retire just so he could do this full time, you know. It was just to have this energy of people wanting to help others for no agenda. I was like, this is awesome. This is Rotary. So I'm like, sign me up. So anyway, I hope everybody will think about Brazil, because I also met a group. The other thing that they did do, I didn't have a slide up, is there were 1,200 Rotarians that walked through part of the city and did this track around Olympic Park. And that's how people know you're a Rotarian. We're all wearing bright yellow t-shirts, and it's like 1,200. And I thought with our new park opening and the things we've done, we might do something like that, do a walk to raise awareness for Rotary and polio. And I thought, people need to see us, and that's what they did. Australia just did a great job of saying, Rotary's here, they want to change things. Rotary, okay.
She makes a great point about the support of the convention staff and the Australians. You know, you might say, well, I don't know if I want to go to Sao Paulo. I mean, that's kind of a dangerous place. And, you know, when you're at a convention, you've got the support of so many Rotarians. It's absolutely